The whole EPIC Challenge program, EPIC Education Foundation, it's all about problem solving, teaching kids how to solve problems. The beauty of the problem in drawing people in as a challenge. Failure is so important to what we do, and we beat it out of the children in school. You know, they have to get only one answer, and it's this answer, that's the correct answer, when really life isn't like that. Most problems that we solve have many solutions to them, and there are ways to fail. I had everything related to science, a microscope, a chemistry set, a hydrodynamic set, an electronics set, and I would just conduct every experiment possible. And then I became old enough that I could start experimenting on my own, and I would send away for formulas for pyrotechnics, for explosives, and how to make fireworks and rockets and things like that. And amazing, my mother would let me do stuff. She let me try things and fail, and that's so important, and basically that's what I teach now when I develop this program for students and for young NASA engineers. It's kind of a homage, but it's really, I started the EPIC Challenge program and the EPIC Education Foundation because I realized right after the Columbia accident that even supposedly really smart engineers can make some really bad decisions if they just follow rules, processes, and procedures, and they don't use their God-given talent and their creativity and think critically. They just forgot how to do this.
There's never going to be zero risk. When you're breaking the bonds of gravity, that's just part of the deal.
And so I saw that when I created this program, it was to teach young NASA engineers how we used to do things as researchers when I was a branch head, how we infuse creativity into the engineering design process and explore ideas in the laboratory and come up with some revolutionary solutions to these problems. And so as I was doing that, I was doing that with teams of engineers before I knew I was going to fly in space to help solve these problems. And so I had to go in my friend's garage, another astronaut in my class, Don Pettit, and we actually explored ways of fixing the wing leading edge. And it was during that experience that I realized that we came up not only with a solution that thousands of people were trying to do and couldn't do, but I said, you know, wouldn't it be great to engage students around the world, to have fun, to come up with creative solutions to problems like this that even NASA couldn't solve? And oh, by the way, yeah, we could develop a program and teach kids how to do that. Kids of all ages love to solve problems. The more challenging problems, the better. I think that's why some kids, even older kids and adults, get addicted to gaming, because they want to feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. They want to do meaningful work. They want their work to have a purpose. They want to even solve problems that society is struggling with, like climate change, water shortages, and things like that. They want to help people. So I believe the younger generation is more socially focused, but there are so many challenges. I tend to gravitate towards the space challenges, which still attracts many students and young kids right now. But there are challenges like that in every industry, every field, that I believe we can engage with young adults, young students, and continue to motivate them so that they don't drop out of this STEAM pipeline. We're making learning not fun for these students. They're geared to just taking a test and only solving one answer and not really experiencing the joy of learning and exploration and discovery. My 5 tips on failing. I teach students how to fail smart, fast, small, cheap, early, and often. I don't want them to narrow their scope of their ideas to one idea too early. Rather, I would have multiple students. I use an open innovation approach, have thousands of students around the world working on different problems, looking at how to solve this problem multiple different ways, but not giving up and selecting only one solution. Mature those solutions as long as you can, understand everything about those problems, and before you dive into it, to look at your particular concept and to be able to look at it objectively and look at all the different ways it can fail. Go out and get other people, other friends and peers to look at it and tell you what's wrong with it. You have to be totally objective. And you have to go through in your mind all the different ways it could fail, and then design into that system ways to obviate that failure. And so we teach them how to do this. We teach them how to rapidly mature their ideas by testing intelligently and quickly and learning as much from the test as possible. But the real magic happens by building that team. How many schools do you know of that actually teach students how to work together as a team, how to listen to other students as they're trying to solve a problem on the team, how to create an environment where it's psychologically safe for students to raise what they think is a silly question and not be ridiculed. If you have to create that atmosphere, and that atmosphere is not just for students, it's for laboratories, it's for large corporations. The problems we're having now, the reason why we had the Columbia accident, the Challenger accident, psychological safety. The reason why we're experiencing Bhopal, these offshore drilling accidents, it's all culture. It's all psychology, sociology, behavioral science. We have to teach these students to create an environment where it's okay to fail. And sometimes we even have to teach students how to fail. You get these grade A students that have always gotten A's and freak out if they don't get a 100 or a 99. You have to teach them how to relax, how to get over it, and how to fail. Because we all make mistakes. And what happens is we have a school system in some cases where it's the sage on stage and I know everything. And so even when I brought teachers in, these really smart people at the faculty to help create this problem, they were unsure of if they wanted to do it because it was risky. I don't know if I want to teach something that I don't know the answer to. So I had to be able to select professors at MIT, Georgia Tech, at Penn State that were willing to create this program and to face a challenge that even NASA couldn't solve. Many people didn't want to do that, and we had to teach them how to fail. And so there's a process for doing that. I work with some great educators like Jack Mattson, wrote the book Innovate or Die. He created a course on Failure 101. He coined the term intelligent fast failure, which is exactly how I was raised, how to conduct experiments. I call it failing smart, fast, small, cheap, early and often. So we teach students how to do that. We say it's okay to fail, but we teach them how to fail intelligently. I started this program in the United States, but it's really taking off in Finland. And I really believe that's going to be the jumping off point because Finland, the entire country, is moving towards phenomenon-based learning. But I really believe we could just, the methodology and the program is such that you could just turn the crank and it works nicely in every country. So we're in the United States, Finland, we're coming here to Australia because Australia's space agency is at its infancy right now, and we're promoting space. And you look at the new space companies and the commercialization of space. Hopefully this is going to take off, just like the aeronautics industry. I call this another Apollo moment. You know, we had the Apollo moment that drove, it steepened the curve of graduates, the number of students that were graduating and going to graduate degrees in STEM-related careers. And that totally stoked the economy in the United States with patents, research papers, new inventions, discovery. It totally helped the economy. And right now we could be experiencing another Apollo effect, another resurgence of interest in doing things in space, mining in space, mining asteroids, mining the moon, mining the surface of Mars. And so I think around the world, this is not something that just the United States can do. That was obvious that it took 15 countries to build the International Space Station. It's going to take every country on the face of the earth to do something and ensure that we can colonize a place like the moon or deep space and Mars. And so I think that's a good thing. You know, I think it brings people together for all the right reasons to help out problems that we have here on Earth rather than us going to war on this planet. Yeah, I mean, look, Andy Thomas had to become a U.S. citizen because he was a little boy in Adelaide that dreamed of becoming an astronaut. I was on the committee for a young Australian, Sydney Doe, from Sydney, Australia, that went to the United States to get his education at MIT because he dreamed of becoming an astronaut. Now you have a space agency in Australia. Maybe we can keep those little boys and girls from Australia in Australia and they'll become astronauts.